All right. Welcome to the Talking Sports Podcast. The entire sports world is talking about the NFL playoffs. And so we are here today back with another episode 3 of Talking Sports Podcast. As you can see, we have Jeremiah, our host, JD. I'm here with you all. We got a special guest, Flam,
Oh
my
man.
guy. Thank you so much for coming in
Yeah,
and
anytime, anytime.
just being willing to just pop on with us to talk sports with us. We already know you are a huge sports guy, huge
Yeah.
NFL fan. But for those who don't know you, just go ahead and just introduce yourself to the community.
My name is Flam. You guys probably know me as Flammy Marciano in some spaces. I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, Sacramento Kings, University Kentucky, basketball and football. I
Okay,
think that's
okay.
about it, man. I'm still looking for my baseball team. I don't have one yet, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Well, hey, once baseball season kicks off,
Mm.
hey, we might have you back on,
Yeah.
so talk some baseball.
Whoever wins me the most money, I might lean that way. We'll see.
No, that's facts. That's facts. Well, we just want to start off by saying thank you to all the community who's watched, liked, subscribed. Thank you all so much. Hit that notification bell so you see all of our content and follow us on Twitter at TSPJDN. We post all of our videos on there. And, we'll be in there communicating, chatting, and posting. So just follow us on there as well. And we're looking to do big things in 2024. So y'all just stay tuned with us, lock in with us, and we're gonna be posting. We're gonna be in the comment section as well. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and share the videos to everybody you know. So today, as I said, is a huge day in the sports world. Today is kickoff for the NFL playoffs, and so we got a lot to talk about, and so we just want to get started. Let's talk about firstly the most interesting matchup of the weekend. Let's talk about what you all think is the most interesting matchup for these playoffs.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, I mean, no, anybody.
I mean, you see the jacket, man. I can't be biased, But
No,
if we're
see, that's the thing, though. You can be biased.
all right,
We
brother,
we we do that here.
you said it, not me. If that's the case, I think the Browns and Texans, man. I feel like the Browns and Texans, they definitely have the most interesting game out of all six going on this weekend. Just simply because you have the story of the rookie quarterback in the playoffs with the rookie head coach. That's like I'm not sure when the last time that's happened. I want to say the Dak Prescott era.
You might
Really,
be right with that.
yeah,
You
like a
might be right
rookie
with that.
quarterback going into the playoffs, and it's not like they were like a Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of team where they kind of just won their division because their division stinks. AFC
Yeah,
South was pretty darn good this year, and I just feel like they edged it out, with that lucky drop that when they played against Indy, that drift
yeah.
of they don't drop that pass on was I think 4th and 2, 4th and 3, we could be having a whole nother conversation. So on that end, Houston just seems like a team of destiny, just everything lined up right with them, right quarterback, right head coach, you know what I'm saying? And then on the Cleveland side of things, we already know how their injury situation is on. These guys are on like their fourth, fifth offensive lineman of the season, their fourth, fifth
Right.
quarterback. Um, Elijah Moore had a really scary, terrifying hit to the head against the Jets, against his former team. And
Yeah,
then
he
you have
did.
Kevin Stefanski, someone who most guys said was on the hot seat, but now it looks like he might win Coach of the Year. So I feel like these are two teams of destiny, and just me being a man of God, brother. Like I love destiny. I love stories where it's David versus Goliath, but in this case it's two Davids versus each other, and then Goliath,
Right.
they might run into the next round. So I think Cleveland and Houston is definitely game of the week.
That's good perspective, Jeremiah. Your thoughts?
That's definitely interesting. I'm gonna go a little bit different. Um, My game of the week is Lions Rams.
Mm.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Let us
I'm very
know.
hard about that. Yeah, for sure. So I actually did have Browns Texans at first, which is interesting. But I thought more about it, and I was like, man, this storyline of the Goff Stafford trade and
Mm.
six
Yeah.
versus three, like it's going to be a crazy matchup. So I got Lions Detroit, and that game I actually have the Rams winning. So they're a 6 seed, but we'll probably get into predictions later. But still, yeah, that's my most
Yeah.
interesting.
That's really good. I was torn between these two, because I do think these are the most two interesting games. But I I think I'm really leaning toward Browns Texans as well. Um, Not to glaze or anything with you, Flam, but I'm just like
Hey,
I
bro,
really
speak your heart.
I really do think that because like it's the most up in the air matchup. Like
Mhm.
I really feel like a lot of people are leaning towards Rams, I'm sorry, and a lot of people
Mhm.
are leaning towards Cowboys. But like with the Browns and Texans, like
Mhm.
it's a close line.
I'm
Like
nervous. I'm
it's
nervous.
the line is looking at 2 right now.
Yeah.
That's the closest line. So
Mhm.
like, and we looking at Vegas. So like, who do you pick? It's really a pick 'em. So like,
Yeah.
that's my most interesting matchup. You know, C.J. Stroud has been playing incredible football. The Browns and like you mentioned, the AFC West. No, no, no. It used
AFC
to be
South.
West. AFC South. Yeah,
Yeah.
Houston. That was supposed to be like one of the worst conferences, and the
Mhm.
Jaguars were supposed to run away with it at the beginning of that
Yeah.
season. And at first, they were running away with it. They were 8-3,
Mhm.
but then everything shifted, and so it really became like last week of the season, week
Mhm.
18, to see who wins it, and that was really unexpected. And so, Houston coming away with that was huge for them,
Yeah.
huge for their development and their growth. Like you said, rookie quarterback in the playoffs, it doesn't happen very often. And like I think that's correct in saying that it hasn't happened since Dak in 2016,
Mhm.
against the Packers, ironically. And so I do think that's the most interesting matchup. But what other matchups intrigue you guys? Because I think, um, just the storylines, and we'll get into that a little bit, but the storylines of this weekend are really, they're really Hollywood. They're really like
Yeah.
scripted. Is it scripted?
Just
With
across the board, it's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Other than Houston Cleveland, the other game that I'm really looking forward to, and most people thinks it's a wash just because Buffalo is apparently a double digit favorite. I think the
yeah.
Steelers could win this, brother. Like Mike Tomlin got that
Really.
black magic. A lot of people had a lot of people had that Steelers team finishing 7-10. They had them finishing, 8,
Hmm.
9. They turned around and went 10-7 on them with Mason Rudolph, bro.
Right.
Not only
Yeah.
that, I think just a couple hours ago, the game got moved to Monday night or Monday
Yes.
evening, excuse me. So now they're getting an extra day of rest. TJ Watt might be able to play now because he has a couple more days. So
Wow.
he has Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to get it together. He might be
Yeah.
questionable. I don't know. I don't know. The Steelers is the last team I would want to play, it being Buffalo, just because Buffalo, they played their last 3 games. I think they had one good one. Because if you ask
Hmm.
me that Miami game, if they don't have that punt return for a touchdown, we might be singing a different song. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Right.
I think the Steelers win that one, bro. That's my one upset of the week.
Okay.
That's my one upset of the
Okay.
week for sure. So I would hate to play Mike Tomlin in a back against the wall situation.
Hmm.
So I got Cowboys Packers as my
Mm.
Okay.
interesting game besides the ones we talked about already. But I found an interesting stat that I couldn't really believe the other day. It kind of makes sense, but the Packers, since the new AT&T Stadium was built, the Packers are undefeated.
That's insane.
That's
Jerry World.
crazy.
Yeah. And
Do
I
you
kind of, I
what
was
do you
like,
think attributes to that? Is it just Aaron Rodgers?
Mm,
I mean, I want to say yes, but at the same time, like those Packer Cowboy games are always just classics. So
yeah.
you could
Yeah,
probably
they
say
are.
Rodgers, yeah, but I think this game could also be like a Pittsburgh Bills kind of matchup to where if Packers work it out, they could probably upset the Cowboys. I think so. They're a young team, obviously.
Yeah.
I think the youngest team in the NFL. But I don't have an upset there. So
Mm.
I'll give that one to the Cowboys.
That's gonna be a
Yeah.
good game,
Well,
man.
it really is. I think that's going to be the marquee matchup of the weekend,
Mhm.
as far as the teams, just because of the story franchise, almost a rivalry at this point going into this game. But Flame, you mentioned it. The breaking news of the day is the Steelers and Bills being moved to Monday afternoon, 4:30 Eastern
Yeah.
Standard Time. So, um, let's talk about that. Like, is there foul play from Buffalo, New York, or like what are we thinking with that? Is it just weather related and we're moving on, or what?
I think it's weather related, but at the same time, I also feel like Buffalo just they have bad luck in the playoffs, going all the way back to losing what 3, 4 Super Bowls straight.
Yeah,
You
three
look at the
straight against the Cowboys.
you look
Yeah,
at the Kansas City Buffalo overtime game. They think that it would have been a different outcome if it was new overtime rules or something like that.
yeah,
I feel like the planets are just aligning to where Buffalo runs into that voodoo negativity, bad juju wall again, man. I'm telling you, it's lining up. Mason Rudolph at quarterback.
yeah.
They have, TJ Watt, their best player, is out. This is a trap game if I've ever seen it. Coming from somebody who plays the Steelers twice every year,
Hmm.
when you look at their roster, it's like, all right, this offense is gonna score like maybe 2 field goals. I don't see any touchdowns. Next thing you know, the defense scores 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals, and the score's 27-20, and you lose because you give up a kick return and 2 pick sixes. This game is lining up, especially with a mistake-prone quarterback with this weather. Like I said,
Yes,
everyone's getting more rest, and more rest in the NFL is dangerous if you're a higher seed because you just want to get the game over
yeah.
with, especially if people think it's a 10 game watch. So Pittsburgh on extra rest, man, and I don't know. It just doesn't. And I think Gabe Davis is out. So as far as big playability,
Yes.
this
Gabe Davis
weather,
is out.
this weather's gonna be ugly for one team and one team only, and it's not Pittsburgh.
Well, that's the thing because when you think about Buffalo and you think about Josh Allen, they, I mean, before they switched to offensive coordinator, they really like to throw it all across the field.
Mhm.
And to be honest with you, they are not an outdoor cold weather team.
Mhm.
Like, you really want to put Josh Allen in the dome where
Yeah.
he's on turf where he can move, he can run, no weather involved.
Yeah.
They don't play well in the cold. They
Yeah.
don't play well in like you said, the playoffs and these elements and things. They really don't play well. If you look back 2 years ago, 2021, against the New England Patriots, the wind game.
Mm, I remember
What
that.
what what was the score of that game? The
Patriots won
Patriots,
17-14, right?
yes, it was something like that. But yeah, um,
I forgot
they
about
they
that.
didn't play well, and they Josh Allen didn't play well, and the Patriots were able to run the ball, play good
Mhm.
defense. And what do you think the Steelers are going to do Monday night or Monday afternoon? They're going
Jalen
to run
and
the
Najee.
ball. They're going to play good defense.
Hmm.
And I mean, to be honest with you, Mason Rudolph has been playing pretty well. They won
He
three
looks
straight,
good,
and I mean, he's coming into his own. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's a Christian too. So shout out to Mason Rudolph.
man.
You know, having a little inside, and so that game has really become more interesting, especially with the new breaking news.
Yeah.
Um, so talked about interesting matchups. In the comment section down below, y'all let us know what y'all think is the most interesting matchup. Um, Score predictions, things like that. Hit us up in the comments. We'll be down there. So let's talk about MVP now. Because last week we thought that it was a lock, and Jeremiah and I, we said that it was a lock. But Lamar has it. Is that still the case, or did Dak Prescott in his Week 18 performance did he step up and kind of jump into the conversation a little more? What are y'all thoughts?
I think I think the MVP race. I think it should be a lot closer than what people have it right now because I know Lamar trust. Like I said, I play the guy twice every year, no matter what.
Yeah.
Uh, hopefully we play him 3 times this year. But
Yeah.
Lamar, he's been. I wouldn't say people have been saying Lamar's been lights out. He hasn't been lights out. He's been taking care of the football and he's
Talk
been
about
winning
it.
games. He's been
Talk
winning
about it,
games.
fam.
He's been winning
Yes.
games. He's been taking care of the ball. He hasn't been lights out. Let's be honest, and until I think he just had his MVP game just the other day, just the other week.
Mhm. Yeah.
You want to talk about lights out? Let's talk about Dak. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy's throwing 300. Like I believe his line for certain games this season of passing yards was like 285, bro. Like over or under. It sounds ridiculous, but him and CD, it's just the chemistry is there. He's winning his team games. Yeah, they struggle on the road, but at
Yeah.
home, you know what I'm saying? They still win their games away. But I wouldn't say Lamar's been lights out, but he has been an MVP player though. He has, but it's a lot closer than what people are thinking. And this is someone coming who has AFC North bias. So for Dak
Yeah.
to hear the offseason noise about his turnovers, not taking care of the ball, is he an injury prone quarterback? Is he worth the money? Same thing with Lamar. Is he worth the money? Injury prone quarterback. They both just stepped up to the plate and balled when it mattered most. I just don't like people throwing around lights out with Lamar Jackson. Other than that, I want to say maybe the Niners game, but that
Yeah.
Dolphins game, I think that Dolphins game was like the only time we were like, wow, this is MVP play, So
Right. Yep.
yeah, can't take that away from him, but he is winning games. But at the same time, Dak is putting up the numbers. So I think people need to make up their minds. Is it a numbers trophy or is it a most valuable, like true valuable player trophy? And I feel like that's where people blur the lines as that award. So
Right. I agree. I think that's kind of the debate. It's like, is it based on your stats?
mm,
Is it based on your team record? Is it based on who you beat? Whatever the case is. Because
right,
Dak's stats are far better.
it's ridiculous.
4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, 9 picks, like so much better. But people will look at Lamar's win against the 49ers.
Mm,
Dak lost. They'll look at
Yeah.
Lamar's win against the Dolphins. Dak lost to the Dolphins. So it's like they'll compare that instead of their actual, I guess, stats or
right.
ability. But I still would mind Lamar winning. But honestly, man, I think CMC has to be in the combo because Christian McCaffrey. I think if you take McCaffrey off of the 49ers, I think they're horrible.
No, facts. Yeah.
I think McCaffrey. I agree with you that if you take McCaffrey off, they're not the same.
Mhm.
Just because he is so dynamic running and catching the ball out of the backfield. But I think he'll win. He'll probably be third. Just because it's not a running back award, and they
Yeah.
they won't give it to him. Even if he broke a record or something like that. It's um yeah. I think he'll probably be third. Or maybe fourth. I mean, they may put Rocket third. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But so we're all in consensus that Lamar is probably going to win it, and Dak's probably going to be second.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
let us
ju-
know who.
just
Go
from the
ahead.
way the media is talking, because like I think Emmanuel Acho has a vote for MVP, if I'm not mistaken, and just the way he talks about it, it looks like he's leaning towards Lamar. But like Jeremiah said, I think you take CMC off the Niners, they might be a fringe 10-7, 9-8 team. So yeah.
Well, it's an interesting conversation. Let us know in the comment section who you think is your MVP 2024 NFL season. So let's talk about someone who's definitely not getting MVP this season, and that is Trevor Lawrence. Um, and Jacksonville Jaguars. They started the season 8-3, and since then went on to lose 5 of 6, and they are not in the playoffs. They did not make it. Their Week 18 loss against the Tennessee Titans proved detrimental for their season, and they are sitting at home watching the games like us. So, what contributed to the Jaguars' struggles this season towards the end of the year?
I believe the Jaguars are just still a poorly ran organization, front office,
Mm,
top to bottom. The only competent and consistent part of that organization is Doug Peterson. The guy he's a quarterback whisperer. He's a Super
yep.
Bowl winner. He knows how to win games. But from the owner to the GM to both coordinators to certain pieces on the team, I don't think everyone's bought in on being a Jacksonville Jaguar. And Trevor Lawrence being this godly prospect that he was supposed to be coming out of college, I still haven't seen it. Some people say they saw it in the playoff game against the Chargers. I'm like, all right, but the dude threw 4 picks in the first half. So I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
he
he
did.
came back and won, but you also have to give a lot of love to the defensive side. But I don't know. I feel like that team needs to do a soul search because I mean the owner also owns his own wrestling entertainment industry. So it's like,
Shot Connor,
yeah. So once I hear something like that, then I'm like, all right, is this dude in it for the money? Does he just want to own these things to say he owns these things? Because if you ask me, Urban Meyer should have never been a head coach in the NFL. Boom, right then and there, you
yeah.
wasted a
Agreed.
year's worth of development of Trevor Lawrence. You already wasted one there.
Right.
Another thing, they paid a lot of money for Calvin Ridley, somebody who was coming off the couch dealing with the gambling situation. They paid him a lot of money, traded away. I'm not saying they traded away crazy picks, but you still traded away draft capital. I feel like they don't draft well. I can't remember the last time they drafted someone. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to click, other than Josh Allen, Kentucky product, by the way.
Yes, sir. Right. Of
So
course.
I feel like that organization, it's just ran nasty. People look across other teams in the league like, oh, the Commanders are ran horribly. The Commanders just had to clean house, owner, GM, and head coach. So
Indeed.
I feel like the Jaguars, other than head coach, I'm keeping Doug Peterson. I don't care nobody say. Owner and GM are gonna have to do some soul searching because it's like, do you want to run a wrestling federation or do you want to run an NFL organization? Because it's hard to juggle. You're not Mark Cuban. I think only Mark Cuban can do
Yeah.
that, and Mark Cuban is a one of one kind of guy. So I feel like moving forward, they're gonna have to do some soul searches. Like, am I gonna sell this team? Can I get a competent GM in here, somebody that's worked with the Niners organization or some sort of winning organization? Because Trevor Lawrence is not developing the way he should to be this 10 out of 10 prospect coming out of college. I've yet to see it. And I feel like
Right.
dude's dang near on the outside of the top 10 quarterback situation, quarterback standings. So
Yeah. I tend to agree. Um, I think to be honest with you, they started off really well. They were
mhm.
clicking. They beat the Bills, came close against the Chiefs. But those were in the beginning of the season, and I really just think they got struck with the injury bug,
Mhm.
and it was just unfortunate for them. They multiple weeks they had both of their cornerbacks out. Tyson Campbell out. I was just getting a lot of information on their defensive situation, and at one point they were leading the league in takeaways, and then the injuries came. Trevor Lawrence got injured. I kind of think they got unlucky this season, and it really the injury bug really struck them at an inopportune time
Can I ask you
to
something?
where they. Yeah, go ahead.
So an injury bug struck for other teams. Are you giving them a pass as well? Or
Well, the thing is, like a lot of other teams, and like you said, as far as the team and the makeup of the team, they were able to to come back from those injuries and do some different things.
Yeah.
So like they may need a new GM
Mm.
because the depth isn't there. If people get injured, then it's not the
Yeah.
same team.
Because the Colts lost Anthony Richardson and they didn't have Jonathan Taylor, so they had like a put offense for what the first Jonathan Taylor came. I think I want to say like 5 weeks into the season, and they clicked. I'd rather have a football team who doesn't click early and they start to put it together late, because then you can make a nice little healthy playoff push. But I mean, the Jaguars were selling playoff tickets when they were 8-3. Like they were literally, there was an ad on the page, and I'm
yeah,
like, who's running this? That's a WWE move. Like, who sells playoff tickets and you ain't clinched nothing? That's
yeah,
it just bothers my spirit when I see things like that. It's just you disrespecting the game.
yeah. I talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Clem. I think as far as being ran as an organization, they are probably one of the worst. Uh, but you're right with Doug Peterson. You definitely have to keep
Mhm. Yep.
him to work with Trevor. But to answer the question, their struggles were two things: the injuries, like you said, they're
Hmm.
always tough to deal with, but they're a part of it. You have to deal
Hmm.
with it. And then the O line. The O line was
Yeah. I
they
forgot about
had
that.
they had spots in the beginning to where they were good, but Trevor was sacked 35 times total,
Hmm.
and he didn't even play full season.
Yeah.
So that's way too much. You have to fix the line issues. Other than that, like you said, Flam, they just trimmed it down at the wrong time.
Hmm.
Probably a few problems to go along with that, but I agree with y'all for sure.
Yeah. I definitely think their trenches outside of Josh Allen on both sides. And I watched that interview, not an interview, but like one of those locker room media uh presses where they talk to the player in the locker room, like when the season's over. Josh Allen's body language was like, "I'm out of here," because I believe
No
he's
way.
that was a contract, year. He didn't say that,
Hmm.
but his
Okay.
body language and the questions they were asking him, they were like, "Do you plan on coming back next year? And if so, how do you guys move about it?" He's like, "Well, I don't know if I'm gonna be a Jaguar next year." When someone like that talented at the end of a contract year says something like that, they're
Yeah.
looking at other options. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be on a contender. He wants to be on a winning team. The dude is ridiculously talented. He has a motor like Max Crosby. So
Hmm.
if you end up losing Josh Allen over this, I'm not sure what to tell you, because there's a team in your division who had the same woes as you. Actually,
Yeah.
two teams. Sorry, because the Texans' offensive line is also makeshift, and they lost C.J. Stroud for a few games. And the Colts and the Texans were able to make it work. And you're
Right.
not. That's just a bad look on the way the team's put together.
And I think you mentioned it. If you look at the Colts and their situation, rookie coach,
Mhm.
they had a rookie quarterback as well. Anthony Richardson was playing fairly well before he got injured.
Yep.
But we look at the moves that they made. If not this year, but last year, who did they trade for? Zach Moss,
Yep.
backup running back from the Bills.
Yep.
Amazing pickup,
Yep.
amazing pickup, and he played very, very well.
Plug in, plug and
And
play.
to spell Jonathan Taylor when he got injured. Also, Gardner Minshew,
Hmm.
backup quarterback. We know he's proven to be a very good backup. So
Yep.
you gotta have pieces in place because injuries, like you said, Jeremiah, injuries are part of it. And so if
Hmm.
you don't have those backups, people that you can put in to have the depth, then I think you run into what a lot of the Jaguars went through this season and just
Yeah.
not fulfilling their full potential and another stunted growth season that they had and not making the playoffs and just kind of waiting for next year.
And there was a couple games where Trevor Lawrence got hurt where he should have never played the following week. They put him out there anyway. Like that's quarterback malpractice. I mean, the dude, we
Yeah.
we all we all thought he tore his Achilles that one week where he was walking down the tunnel.
Hmm.
Next thing you know, oh, he's playing next week. I'm not putting my franchise quarterback out there. We got a 3-4 game lead in the division. Like, that's just quarterback
Right.
malpractice. Now he has to hobble and protect this while running away from Myles Garrett, which led to another injury. So it's like,
Right.
Like, come on, bro. You don't care about your quarterback. That's what it tells me. It's quarterback
Yeah.
malpractice.
And it also says that you don't trust your backup. CJ
Mhm.
Beathard, I mean, CJ
Yeah.
Beathard. I mean,
It is what it
we know.
is.
It is what it
We
is.
Yeah.
know. Exactly. Okay. So I think we talked about it a little bit, but do they need to make any changes going into next season? Like, what do you see? What do they need?
I definitely think they need to go trenches, like Jeremiah said. Offensive line stinks. Josh Allen's probably gone. I don't think I can name another defender on that team outside of the cornerback, both cornerbacks. I like
Yeah,
Andre
Patrick
Cisco
Williams.
though. I like Andre Cisco. Cisco's a
Yeah.
baller. Um, I definitely would try to get another defensive coordinator in there, just because they don't tackle well, and when you're playing against
Mhm.
somebody like Jonathan Taylor, well, and Derrick Henry, even though Derrick Henry's gone, you that I don't know, just that playoff Jags team had a different aura about them. Like they played with a swagger, like a young team. Like, yeah, we don't have experience, but you're gonna feel this type of experience. And I don't feel that this season. So I definitely think
Yeah.
it starts in the trenches because when you control the line of scrimmage, it helps not only your quarterback out, but it helps the run game. Travis Etienne didn't get as many run carries at the end of the season. When early, like
Agreed.
he did early in the season, dude was tearing it
Agreed.
up, and then all of a sudden, it's like he hit a brick wall. I don't
I had
know.
him in fantasy, so I know
Yeah,
he
exactly.
he was killing. He was going off for
Yeah,
me.
and
And
then
then I had to bench him like the last 5 weeks of the season. He just
and
wasn't
that's
producing.
And that's insane. You have to bench Travis Etienne on your fantasy team because Duke can
Exactly. Come
ball.
on.
He has chemistry with Trevor Lawrence, similar to Jamar Chase and
Exactly.
Joe Burrow. So once you get the offensive line straight, you can focus on the pass rush. And once you focus on both of those, whether it's through the draft, via free agency, we're gonna see how this GM moves and if he's willing to spend money. So we'll see.
Yep. So you mentioned their D line, their O line. Trayvon Walker. I believe he was round one, pick one. Did they call his name any this season?
What year was he drafted?
2022.
Let me look at this 2022 draft because when it happened, I was like, maybe they know something I don't. Maybe he's a
I
gem.
mean, Georgia prospect. I mean, the Georgia did have the most dominant defense, but I mean, let's look at the Eagles' defense this season. How many Georgia players did they get?
Exactly.
I
That's
mean, let's talk about it.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know if that's going to be another segment today or later on, but that's ridiculous for a team to do that. It's stupid. It's horrible, horrible coaching. Just because you draft a bunch of good guys who played on the same team in college doesn't mean it's going to translate to the NFL. I think Jordan Davis gained like an extra 20 pounds on the season.
yeah,
He's lazy, you know what I'm saying? But the Trayvon Walker draft, let's look at who they should have went. Aiden
okay,
Hutchinson. You think Aiden Hutchinson lined up with Josh Allen makes a difference?
that would have been nasty. That would have been a nasty combination.
Kayvon Thibodeau, another pass rusher. Like you could have had Derek Stingley Jr. You could have shortened up the outside. You could have had Sauce Gardner. Trayvon Walker, to me, he wasn't even like top 10 on my big board. The dude's good, but he's not round one, pick one, like you said. I'm
Yeah,
going Aiden Hutchinson. The dude has a ridiculous motor. He was coached under Harbaugh. I would love
yeah,
a guy who was coached under Harbaugh. That means he has NFL experience in college already. It just translates well. So I
exactly.
don't I don't know. Just because somebody goes to Georgia doesn't automatically make them a great player in the NFL because you still got to go through training camp. It's a rude awakening. A lot of rookies say it every single time. OTAs is you think college is hard, and then you get to a coach like Doug Peterson, you get to OTA, and it wakes you up. I'm looking at a lot of other players that I probably would have drafted over that probably would have made this team a lot better, and I just don't see why Trayvon Walker went 1-1. It's just it baffles me to this day.
Yeah, and like you said, maybe they need a new defensive coordinator
Yeah.
to unlock some of that potential because I
Mhm.
mean he has potential. He's still young,
Yeah.
um, but maybe they just need a shift in mindset and perspective and game plan. So It's very interesting. Jeremiah, do you have something you wanted to add to that, or
I was gonna say, man, Josh Allen, I think, had 17 sacks.
this
That's
season?
crazy. This season, yeah.
Come on now.
Nobody
Wow.
else was close to that on that team. So
Wow.
yeah, you do need a new GM, probably a new coordinator. I don't know, maybe scout better. I don't know, do something. Get some help on that defense because you have to
Man.
have that's one thing about the NFL, man. You have to have a balanced defense.
Mhm.
If your secondary is only good, you're gonna get beat up front. If your front seven's only good, you're gonna get beat over top. So you got
It's very true. It's very true. So let's shift gears a little bit. We are talking about, let's get back to the playoffs. And of course, the playoffs are pressurized, you know, atmosphere,
Mhm.
situational. So what teams, in your opinion, are under the most pressure to win it all this season? Not just get one, get two wins. What teams are the most pressure to come away with the Lombardi?
I'm about to put the pressure on my boy right now, man. Lamar Jackson has to make the Super Bowl. He don't got to win it, but he got to make the Super Bowl. Planets have aligned.
Mm,
Steelers ran into a brick wall with quarterback situation.
yeah,
Joe Burrow got hurt. He's won MVP. He has a first round bye. He's
yep.
most likely going to play either, I believe, Houston or the Browns if the Bills handle business, and Chiefs Dolphins. I don't know how that's going to go, but either way, you scored 60 on one of these teams already.
Yep.
You beat the Browns before. You beat the Steelers. So the whole AFC pool is chum to you. You've already beaten them, or you have a history of just dropping ridiculous numbers against them.
Hmm.
No team is supposed. Don't let Joe Flacco come in there and win. Don't do that. Do not do that. The guy that you came in and replaced and ended up making the
Exactly.
playoffs. Don't let him.
Exactly.
Don't let that happen, because Lamar has only won one playoff game despite having two MVPs. That's,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying. That's pressure. A lot of people say
Yep.
it's on Josh Allen. We know what Josh Allen is. He's a turnover machine or he's a touchdown machine. We already know what he is. Buffalo already has that voodoo
He's
as
done.
an organization.
He's done.
Lamar, the dude's, but I think he's elite. I think Lamar is elite, but he still got that
Yeah.
pressure on him. One playoff game in 6 years just doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying? For someone who's an elite quarterback. Right now, the AFC it's his for the taking. They got to make the Super Bowl. You just got to win that one divisional game, and you in the AFC Championship. They're most likely going to play, if they make it to the AFC Championship, the Bills, or I believe Dolphins or Chiefs.
Yeah.
So the pressure's on Lamar. He has to make it happen. I know you don't have Mark Andrews, but I heard that he's back practicing.
Yep.
You have an
Yes.
offensive coordinator. I know both coordinators. I think they're both interviewing for head coaching jobs already. So if you don't win it this season, you might go into next season with a whole new OC, with a whole new DC. So the planets have a line for you, brother. All you gotta do is get there. You know what I'm saying? Go in there and handle business, and don't do none of that nonsense we're used to seeing you do in the playoffs. So I feel like Lamar has all the pressure in the world right now.
Jeremiah, talk about it.
I agree. For the AFC, that's definitely my choice. It's the Ravens, man. It's this year or I don't know. Because like you said, this everything has lined up perfectly. The Chiefs are not what they once were. Uh, got injuries on the Dolphins. Browns or Houston could be scary depending on who they end up playing. But
Hmm.
Pittsburgh and Buffalo, don't trust them. So this is the year for the Ravens. So I agree. But for NFC, Jody, you already know where I'm going with
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
Cowboys have the most
Oh.
You have Super Bowl winning coach Mike McCarthy. You got Dak, CD, you got the defense, Micah, Rock, Bland. Like the Cowboys should walk to the NFC Championship, beat the 49ers, and play the Super Bowl. If they don't, they fail again.
They can beat the Niners too. I don't like people writing them off. I think they can beat the Niners.
I agree. I fully
Yeah.
agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I had the Cowboys as my number one. I had Ravens as my number three team in
Mhm.
pressure, for all the reasons you mentioned. But I do think it's the Cowboys as the most pressure, just because they're the Cowboys. Number two seed, they're undefeated at home last two seasons, and that if they win, they get two home games,
Yeah.
which they haven't had before. So um, I think Mike McCarthy, he has tons of pressure. He's going against his former team. And Jerry Jones did not really give him any confidence, because in a press conference this past week, he said that we'll see how it goes in the playoffs.
I don't want to
That
hear that from Jerry if I'm Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, no, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And he's calling the plays, and I mean, he put a little bit of pressure on himself,
Mm.
making the change, firing Kellen Moore,
Mhm.
and taking over play calling, and it's been a huge success. We've seen a completely different Dak Prescott than we've seen, being second team All Pro. I think this team had three straight 12-5 seasons with really nothing to show for it.
At all.
Thanks to the 49ers. But this season is theirs for the taking if they want it. And
Mhm.
if we'll see if they really want it Sunday
Yeah.
at 4:30.
And
So
another thing
yeah.
they that pooped on Mike McCarthy's confidence, Dan Quinn might be leaving as well. I know he's getting a lot of head coaching interviews, and
Yeah.
doesn't help that Micah Parsons said, "I don't know where Quinn goes, but if he leaves, I might leave with him."
He said that.
So
He
so
actually said that.
so the fact that you're hearing that, your owner doesn't really, he said, "Let's see," I guess that's basically what Jerry Jones said.
Yeah.
One of the best defensive coordinators in the league is most likely out of the building to make more money and to get a better job. And your best defensive player said, whether it's a joke or not, that's not something you say going into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like now,
Right.
it sounds like you're not bought in. So I know Mike is very what excuse me, very outspoken, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's one of the jokes that he probably could have kept in the chamber. But yeah, I feel like Dallas on the NFC side for sure, is probably up there.
You mentioned Dan Quinn. Let's talk about him for a sec, because in my personal honest opinion, Dan Quinn should not be, well, he can interview all he wants. And if he
Mm,
wants to make more money as a head coach,
mm.
good for him. But other teams should not be trying to get him as a head coach.
I agree.
He's not a proven head coach. And
Yep.
we saw that previously. He's an amazing defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
We've seen it multiple times. Seattle, Cowboys. Um, he was the coach of Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Yep. Sure was.
That yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
not going. I'm not going for that. But if you want to do that, that's fine. I just think he's a better defensive coordinator. Some coaches are just meant to coach their positional
Hmm.
things, their positional teams, and so that's just a tough spot for me as a Cowboys fan personally.
I feel like just the way the league is trending, if you're going for a head coach, you just want an offensive minded guy, somebody who could put together schemes offensively and mess up. Because you look at these defenders now in the NFL, you got defensive linemen running 4.3s, 4.4s. They kind of don't need coaching already. They just need people to put them in the right place at the right time, and their skills can do the talking. Offensively, you have to kind of be more hands-on with these sort of things. Like in Cleveland, we have Kevin Stefanski, who was the offensive coordinator at Minnesota at one time, where Kirk was putting up stupid numbers.
Right.
Um, you got to look at the Niners. We already know what Shanahan and his coaching tree is capable of. Mike McDaniel's, the team scored 70 at one point this season. There's just so many offensive
Sean
minds throughout the
McVay.
league. Sean McVay. I mean, come on, this dude's cooking with Puka Nakua. Like,
Puka.
you know
Shout
what
out
I mean?
Puka.
Shout out Puka. Shout out my ninja Puka. So it's like,
Yeah.
if you can get an offensive minded guys, I still don't see why people are lining up to go for these defensive minded guys. You know what I'm saying? You look at Robert Sala. You know what I'm saying? Sean McDermott, if you ask me, he's still on the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? He's
I
the
agree.
defensive minded guy.
Agree.
D'Amico Ryans, I feel like he's a flash in the pan because, like I said, Houston's a team of destiny. Everything kind of just lined up perfectly for them. Because if Indianapolis Colts make that catch and they get that first down, Shane Steichen's in the playoffs and he's an offensive minded coach. So I feel like
Exactly.
for guys to go for these defensive minded head coaches, it's not trending that way. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're one of these old fashioned guys. I mean, heck, Bill Belichick just got booted from New England and he's primarily a
Right.
defensive guy. So I just feel like if you want to win games, get a guy who could talk to your quarterback and just because for Doug Peterson to come into that trash dumpster fire that Urban Meyer left and make the playoffs a year after, it just says a lot. You know what I'm saying? So get you an offensive minded guy. I don't know why people are going for these defensive minded coaches. It baffles me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Some coaches are just meant to be in their one position,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's division coordinator, O-line coach, whatever it is. And Dan Quinn has already, I don't want to say failed, but he hasn't been a good head coach.
Yeah.
We've seen that. So, I mean, hey, but if you want more money, go for it.
Yeah. Get that bag, brother.
Yep, for sure. And we'll see how it all plays out with, coaching carousel in into the season things. But sticking on coaches though, let's talk about that because we did have a few coaches that fired, stepped away from their teams. Um, so the Patriots, they moved on from whether it's mutual or not, they moved on from Bill Belichick, and in Seattle, they moved on from Pete Carroll. And so we're seeing a lot of the older coaches kind of being pushed out. What are your thoughts on just the fact that these the older coaches are moving on, but they're seeming to really like the Patriots hire was so quick. It was less than 24 hours, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo just moving into the new role. Let's talk about the coaching carousel in NFL right now.
Uh, I believe it goes back to what's trending. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
young coach. These young
Mhm.
coaches are coming. I mean, Gerard Mayo was on the team less than a decade ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Mike Vrabel. I'm not saying he was on the team or on the Patriots less than a decade ago, but he's also a former
Hmm.
coach. Dan Campbell, who was a backup tight end in Dallas, where he sat next to some of the great offensive minds like Jason Garrett,
Yeah,
Tony Romo, Jason Witten. These old, it's time for a new change. You know what I'm saying? Like similar to like elementary school. In elementary school, back in the day, like people was
yeah,
getting spankings in class with paddles. You
yeah.
can't do that nowadays. It's a new era. Kids got laptops and
iPads.
iPads and holographic whiteboards and stuff. It's a
Right.
new
Yep.
technological era. Like I want my head coach to know his way around a tablet. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is out. Pete Carroll's out. Heck, Nick Saban is out. Did I say Pete Carroll already?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ron
Yep.
Rivera. You know what I'm saying? These are old school
He's
guys
out. Yeah.
who
Forgot
just
about
can't
him.
keep up with the new age. They don't understand. Like the Patriot way was fun. It was a fun little dynasty they had going. It worked for what it was. But you saw Tom Brady left because he saw what was popping. He said, I want to go to Tampa where they got young talent.
Yeah.
They're a quarterback away. Bill, I love you, but I need to go get this last ring real quick, and I'm gonna get this bag and I'm gonna get up out of here.
Yeah.
You just it's another trend. These old guys can't keep up now unless there's some OG master sensei I don't know about in the NFL. I feel like across the board, I would say about the next 5 years, all coaches are going to be under 55, man. So I just feel like it just makes sense because, especially as far as talking to these new guys, you know what I'm saying? Nick Saban was out. I know a lot of people say, well, he's 72. And well, that doesn't really mean anything because he still has his mind that works. But with these
Yeah.
NIL deals and these high school kids wanting money now because they understand that I'm a brand now in college. A younger coach is going to be able to understand that because they're a lot closer to 17 than they are 70. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So once you understand who's on your team and how to talk to them, it's another reason why I feel like Eric Bieniemy doesn't have a head coaching job. I heard he doesn't interview well. I heard he kind of rubs
Mm,
players the wrong way, but he's
okay,
a great offensive mind. I mean, the dude let
absolutely,
Sam Howell throw 4,000 yards, dang near 30 touchdowns.
right.
So it's a trend. If I hire a guy, I want him to be young. I want him to be understanding. I want him to be a player's guy. But at the same time, I need his mental to be right. And I feel like these older guys it's just it's just time to hang it up. It's a new era.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's time. Belichick probably should have been gone once Brady left. Could have got some young pieces to kind of start over.
Yeah.
I don't understand the Mac Jones. I don't I don't get that whole situation. Maybe y'all can explain it to me.
Don't talk about bad drafts around me. I get PTSD.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Man.
But yeah, man, these coaches, I'm with Flair, man. You have to have an offensive mind. That's what everybody wants right now. So yeah, that's what I would say.
And so I want to kind of just bring a counter argument to it. I do agree, but let's think about it this way: these guys can still coach. I mean, we know that Bill Belichick is a defensive coach. Patriots, they still had one of the better defenses
Mhm.
in the league. Pete Carroll, they almost got to the playoffs. These guys can still coach. I just think they need help as far as bringing the offensive mind into what they do well.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's really, and well, I'll put it this way: Patriots is a different situation because Bill Belichick was also GM. He was making a lot of the decisions, and that was really the detriment
Yeah.
to the team because he doesn't draft well.
It was like Bill
He's
O'Brien in the Houston days.
yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And Bill O'Brien, wasn't he with the Patriots as well this
Yeah.
season?
Mhm.
So putting them together didn't really mesh well. So if Bill Belichick had a young offensive coordinator and a better quarterback, let's be honest, they need a quarterback, and I
Yeah.
hope they draft a quarterback this season in the draft. But do you guys think these guys will ever get head coaching jobs again?
I think Belichick's best chance at at becoming a head coach and being successful, I feel like his best chance is the Saints, but they're holding on to Dennis Allen for another year, I guess.
Or whatever. Why I don't know,
It's
but go ahead.
baffling to me. But I feel like that situation, I feel like Belichick, I think he needs to just hang it up, man. He had a great run. As far as legacy, some people might have him number one, even though he hasn't passed Don Shula yet. But
Right.
I have him number one over Don Shula, just because I was alive and I was around to watch those Patriots games. Um,
Yeah.
Kind of like you said, Belichick left and he had a great defense, similar to Pete Carroll. I feel like that just speaks to the new generation that we're in, because when those guys were younger and they were coaches, the NFL was defensive. It was a defensive league. So they
Very
understand what
true.
it takes to put together great defenses. You know what I'm saying? Like Pete Carroll built it from defensive and then kind of let the offense kind of trickle in and just be able to prosper.
Yeah.
Belichick was looking for another Brady and Mac Jones. There's no reason Mac Jones should have been drafted as high as. I don't know why Mac Jones was in talks for top 3 for the Niners. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's just, I feel like moving forward, Belichick's best chance at being successful, he either has to get paired with a veteran quarterback, because if I'm Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy or Drake
stay
May,
away.
I don't
Run
want to
away.
go and I'm not trying to be coached under
Exactly.
the Wicked Witch from the West, bro. Don't smile. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I like to listen to Drake. I like to listen to Future. I like to talk music with my coaches like they do in Miami. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I definitely feel like Belichick either needs to become a defensive coordinator, which I doubt he will, or just hang it up. Just go out on a high note, man. Go ahead, join television, hop back there with Terry Bradshaw, get you a bag, bro.
Well,
The last
go
time he
ahead.
smiled for him, he was with your organization with Saban. I don't know how many years ago, but
I want to say it. I don't want to bring up Osa. You said it, not me. You said it, not me.
The craziest thing about that, did y'all watch his end of his press conference
Mm-hmm.
to end it?
Yeah.
He literally made a joke.
Mm-hmm.
When has Bill Belichick ever made a joke in a press conference?
That boy is
And
free.
it was funny.
He's free. Yeah.
So for those of you who didn't watch it, Bill Belichick said that he hasn't seen this many cameras in the press conference since they brought in Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing joke.
Yeah.
Amazing
Like,
joke.
I forgot. I think it was Randy Moss. Randy Moss said Bill Belichick is funny. Randy Moss said it himself when he was over in New England. He said Bill Belichick is sneaky funny. You know what I'm saying? He said it takes a lot to get it out of him, but
Yeah,
he's funny. And I
that's
just
crazy.
I don't those dad jokes aren't gonna fly with a Shador. You know what I'm saying? Like I love it. I'm 29. I turned 30 this year. I get it, but you know, a
Yeah,
21-year-old coming in there, it's not gonna mesh well, man. It's gonna be awkward,
yeah,
you know. So
for sure,
I'll take
for sure.
Belichick if you want to go back to Cleveland. He get a little GM assistant GM spot. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I
Come
don't know.
home.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit breaking news. Also, I think it came out yesterday, but AJ Brown knee sprain, he's out for the game against the Bucks. Um, so let's talk about that game because that's a very interesting game. Bucks versus Eagles. Bucks are at home Monday, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Are the Eagles just they lose out, right?
They're done.
They're done.
They're cooked, bro. They're cooked. That Tampa Bay defense is smothering, bro. People thought it died when Brady left. Nah, that defense is alive and well. They still, yes, Tampa Bay only scored 9 points, but to win 9 points in a divisional game
Mm-hmm.
and win the game 9-0, a shutout against any, I don't care if it's the Panthers, I don't care if it's the Cardinals. A shutout is a shutout. Zero, a big fat nothing.
Yeah.
Them boys can ball. Antoine Winfield, I thought he was all pro first team personally. They got some killers over there in the pass rush. Like Vita Vea is still a Vita Vea. That's a fire hydrant in the middle. I tried to
Yeah.
tackle him in real life. He played running back when he went to Milpitas High. He trucked me so I saw shoestrings and clouds. The dude is nice, bro. I promise you. There might be camp footage on YouTube. You might have to look at his running back highlights, but he put me on my spinal cord, bro. So I know how it feels to go up against Vita Vea, let alone if you're a center and you know what I'm saying, you got to snap the ball first before you worry about him. So
Right.
and what I need Baker to not play hero ball because being a Baker, being a Baker
Show us.
hard.
Show us.
It's hard. This is still one of my favorite players of all time. This dude won me my first playoff game I've ever watched as a Cleveland Browns fan. I
Get
think
out Baker Mayfield, man.
Baker can do it. People say that Mike Evans' 1,000-yard streak was over with because Baker came. Little did they know that's Baker's game. Baker went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in college, bro. I think it was like a dang near 170 score altogether. Just don't play hero ball.
And in the playoffs.
And in the playoffs. Like, dude can hoop. Like, I just need him to not play hero ball. Just play your game. I know he's kind of banged up. I saw him kind of limping around week 18.
Yeah.
But if he can get on the same page with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cade Otton is starting to come along. He's a late bloomer, but I liked him coming out of college. And Rachaad White, he's what we think Isaiah Pacheco is. He's a weapon. He reminds me of Etienne a lot because if he gets the space, he's out of there. But I can't think of anything the Eagles do well. The fact that they won 11 games is still baffling to me. They shouldn't have won that many. They shouldn't have won. They should be a bottom 5 team in the NFL as far as draft position, but they got some lucky pulls earlier in the season. But when I think of Sirianni, I can't think of anything he does well as a coach. His coordinators left and the team went you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, was it the coordinators? You know what I'm saying? Because Jalen Hurts looks like a whole nother player. I don't see the Eagles. And people sleep on that Tampa Bay fan base too. Playing in Tampa is not easy. Tom Brady said it himself. He said that's one of the most rocking stadiums in the playoff atmosphere. So if Tom Brady said it, it must be true.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't never really trusted the Eagles all season. You can go back to the other episode where we just kind of dogged on them for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They're not all that. They're not what people
Yeah.
said they were.
Mm,
And I think the only reason they won those games was because of Hurts. Hurts was
yeah.
just put on the backpack. He just carried them the whole way.
Yeah. And the booty
So,
tootie.
right.
Right.
So yeah, I honestly I do think they'll still pull this game out. Just
Okay.
because I could just see Baker throw the late game pick. I hate to say that. But I could.
PTSD.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry for that. But yeah, I still go with the Eagles to pull that one out. Even though they'll probably lose next round. For sure.
So this is another. It's all these playoff games are just so amazing, and we got just over 2 hours before kickoff. So we're gonna get y'all out of here. But the Eagles Bucks game, that game, I, I don't know. The Eagles defense is just so bad.
Mm,
And Jeremiah, you mentioned it earlier. If your secondary is bad, then you're gonna get cooked. If your front seven is bad, then just beat you over the top. Like
yep.
they're not getting the pressure that they did last year. They led the league in sacks last year. This
Mhm.
season they can't really get a push. Hassan Reddick's not been the same. He's still good. Don't get me
They got,
wrong. He's
they got
still
that boy playing safety.
right
Yeah.
because their safeties and corners just can't do it.
Man.
And I think Emmanuel Acho had a clip on Speak where he was talking about Hassan Reddick dropping back when he's the best pass rusher you have.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, and playing like you said, the coordinator's leaving. That's tough. That's tough. And you
Jonathan
don't have that
Gannon.
same
Jonathan Gannon.
camaraderie.
Jonathan Gannon with Kyler looks like a good coach. It looks like Arizona looks like a good team. Like they could be viable
Yeah,
next year. So
yeah. Destroy the Eagles.
yeah.
They put it
Oh
on the Eagles.
man, dang! I forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
They put it on them. But yeah, I see the Bucks winning. This is it's a similar situation to uh the last season with Cowboys playing the Bucks last season, but
Mhm.
this is a completely different team. The
Yeah,
Eagles, AJ Brown being out, Devontae Smith he was limping, he got hurt the last game.
I think
He
Jalen Hurts finally threw a football yesterday. I think yesterday was his first time throwing a football since last Sunday.
Yeah, he sprained his
So
finger.
yeah.
Do you, Flan? We talked about rust versus rest in our last episode. I don't
Mhm.
know if you were able to catch that, but what do you feel about the whole rust versus rest thing? Like, because the Eagles, they probably should not have played that last game against the
Nah,
Giants.
they shouldn't have. And it's one of those things where I know Stephen A likes to say it about Dallas. What could go wrong will go wrong. I feel
Yeah,
like that's Philly. What could what I'm saying? They had a stretch of Giants, Cardinals, Giants. They win all those three, they most likely win the division. They
yeah,
lost
they
two
do
of
win the
three.
division. Yep,
That first Giants game they should have lost. Cardinals beat them, and then
yep,
the Giants just put it on them with the starters in. So I don't want to hear we rest our starters excuse.
right.
They should have never even you clinched playoffs already, bro. Go ahead, get you that 5 seed, that 6 seed, and rest. Now you're looking at a quarterback who can't throw. His
Hmm.
whole finger just jammed up. AJ Brown is out. Devontae Smith, like you said, he was already hobbling and he's not that big. So him going across the middle and having to run into Shaq Barrett or Levante, that's just terrifying to me. It's the best thing Philly got going for him is their kicker. That's about it.
That is a terrible spot to be in going into the
Mm,
playoff game, and we'll see if the Eagles can get back. I don't know. I think the Bucks are gonna win. I got a close game. I think
Yeah.
it'll be 23-17 Bucks. That's my prediction.
Okay. I like 23-20 Bucks. I think Baker got a game winning drive in him.
And since we being honest, the Browns should have never got rid of Baker Mayfield. It's just
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's talk about it.
The only reason I don't agree with that is because when there's an opportunity to better your position, no matter how hard it is, you have to take it. Now, I don't agree with the contract we gave Deshaun, just going off of what he was dealing with off the field. But if we talk about on-field production, you're telling me somebody who was toe-to-toe with Mahomes at dang near every year of his career is available. Baker just came off of a bad. I know he was injured.
Yeah.
But that's part of the game. You played.
Yep.
Don't play if your shoulders hanging off the bone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like when you have someone like Deshaun Watson, a lot of people are saying, well, he sucked this year. Deshaun Watson was 5-1 as a starter. If you watch that first Bengals game, it was raining sideways in a typhoon, and he still made ridiculous throws. Y'all know that juggernaut in the AFC, the Ravens? What happened?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, shoulder hanging off the bone, went 14 for 14 in the second half, walked the Ravens all the way down the field for a game-winning field goal. So I'm not trying to hear that there's Deshaun Watson is washed, he's gone. No, he wasn't healthy. Dude got knocked out first play of the game in Seattle. We had to deal with PJ Walker. If PJ Walker just throws a first down, bro, do y'all know we're first seed in the NFL? And in the AFC? If PJ Walker doesn't throw a pick on 3rd and 1, we are the number one. So the Browns are going to be all right. I need Deshaun Watson to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I need all of our offensive linemen to wear bubble wrap in the offseason, start driving Priuses with great airbag protection, get ADT, State Farm home insurance, protect yourself, bro. Because if we can keep this team healthy, don't get me started on Nick. If we had Nick Chubb, that's 2 games right
Nick
there.
Chubb, bro. I forgot about Nick Chubb. I'm going to be honest with you.
So we could take care of Deshaun. It's just Baker wanted to play too much hero ball. On Christmas, he threw 4 interceptions and still had a chance to walk the Packers down and win the game and put us in playoff position. He threw an interception on the second throw on a crossbody out route. I feel like he tried to chase that playoff season that he had in 2019. I understand that was a great season. That was a great year. You balled out. You almost beat Mahomes and Arrowhead. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like he was so giddy. I think it's good that he went to the Panthers, and it's good he went to the Rams to calm down, kind of find himself, find his inner zen. Now you see it in Tampa. He's playing carefree. He's playing with house money. Now he might mess around and get a long-term contract. He's looking like a franchise quarterback again. So I get it. The way we went about it was tacky, though. We didn't call Baker.
Yes.
We didn't tell him that, hey, we might be shopping and we're throwing stuff in the ocean to see if we can get Deshaun. They didn't tell him that. Mm-hmm. They told him, you're our guy. That's what he was understanding. The way everything happened. And then when it looked like we were out of the race, we tried to go back to Baker. That's no. Once that happened, bro, you're cooked. So I feel like that was tacky about it. Should we have picked Deshaun over Baker? Yes. The way we went about it was disgusting, though. I will agree to that.
Yeah.
It's a fair take.
Well, I just want to talk about a little bit before we get out of here. Alabama, Nick Saban retired, and they brought in, again, very quickly, Kalen DeBoer, Washington's former head coach. So this is going to be a new era for Alabama football. We've seen a lot of people transfer out of Washington, transfer out of Alabama. What are y'all thoughts on that? Because I liked Washington all season. I was rooting for them. They were fun to watch. Kalen DeBoer seems like a very steady-headed coach, knows what he's doing offensively. I think I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna be rooting for Alabama now because I don't really rock with Alabama like that.
Yeah,
but I think it's a good hire. A little bit of college football talk. in national championship also. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it was a great hire. Like you said, I think it was quick. Though I feel like when organizations hire head coaches that fast, they already made it up in their mind weeks ago, maybe even months ago. No, it's kind
Yeah,
of like when you go through a breakup and your girlfriend get with somebody like 2 weeks later. She already been talking to bro. That she ain't fall in love in a week and a half, bro. Stop it, bro. Don't play yourself. But I feel like that hire was perfect. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You saw what he did with Penix. So what he can do with
yeah.
Jalen Milroe, hopefully they can get that ball rolling again. Will we ever see Saban's Alabama? Probably not. But with the new conferences and the new divisions and how everything is lined up with new teams joining, you never know, and with the playoff seeding expanding, I think to 12 teams now. Um, which I don't like that, by the way, but I definitely feel like that was a good hire, and I feel like Alabama, they might miss a step or two. They might drop one or two tough games early, but I feel like once he gets acclimated to the area, roll tide. So
You know,
Yeah, it's definitely weird how fast it was. I
mm,
agree. I feel like when it's that fast, you have to be like already agreed, maybe the gentleman's agreement, whatever it may be.
mm.
But
yeah,
I just feel for Washington. That's my main take. Like you said, I don't care about Alabama. I really don't. Uh,
yeah.
I feel like Washington's fall off is going to be worse than TCU's after
Mm.
last year because you're
That's an
losing
interesting take.
everybody. You're losing
That's a
Yeah,
everybody.
very interesting take.
yeah.
So I don't know, but hey, shout out to the coach. Got the bat. He got out while it was good. Um, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
he is.
Yeah.
He was losing a lot. Rome Odunze, he went to the draft. Um, Polk, I think, is the other wide receiver. He went to the draft. Of course, Penix is going in the draft.
I think one
I
of their
think
tackles too.
Trice, I think is his name.
Mm.
He's going into the draft. So, like you said, Jeremiah, they're losing a lot of talent going into the draft, and so they were going to be bringing in Will Rogers from
It's true.
Mississippi State, but because DeBoer's leaving, then he transferred back out. So we'll see where he's going to be going. But like I think you said it, he hit the nail on the head. I think it was the right time for him to move on and get a new job and get more money. Get more exposure, which is what everybody really wants at the end of the day. So yeah, that's very good takes. Um, Flam, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, talking sports with us. Before we get out of here, go ahead and plug your channels where people can follow you.
Yeah, man. If you guys are interested, make sure you go follow me on YouTube at youtube.com/flamgodgaming. Twitch is also Flam God Gaming. But my social medias will be Flammy Marciano. Um, Thanks for having me, man. And after we win the AFC championship game, feel free to bring me back for Super Bowl picks, man. I got you. So yeah, I'm about to go
Sure.
sweat this Houston Cleveland game out. If Texans win, you may never hear from me again. So this might be my last. I hope not, but nah, we gonna be all
Yeah,
right. Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate you.
no, absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Mm.
Y'all enjoy the playoff games today and tomorrow, this whole weekend. Playoffs. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all like talking sports, like we love talking sports, hit us up in the comment section down below. Hit us up on Twitter. We'll be there talking sports with you all. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.